Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I am your beautiful host, BoredGamer. We're going to be talking about Star Citizen things. It's the 17th of February 2025. I'm joined by the at least equally lovely Zinnia. Say hello, at least equally lovely Zinnia.
Hello, at least equally lovely Zinnia.
Perfect.
I mean, I'd say I'm more lovely.
Okay, well, but that I was still accurate with my statement. So
Yeah.
One day I'm going to make you forget exactly what I've asked you to say. It was going to be perfect.
Never.
Never. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the content-driven nature of some of the patches this year and what CIG have in store for us with their story and whether we think this is a good idea or not. We've got Alpha 4.0.2 and Open PTU. We've got Vault weapons coming. We have the Super Hornet Mark II. We've got the Heartseeker. We've got Core and more. We've got loads of stuff happening and we're going to be talking about some of that. So Zin, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm also all right. Been playing board games and enjoying board games, just about to complete Oathsworn. So, we want to talk about, I suppose, to start with, Inside Star Citizen, content-driven. I'm reliably informed you've watched this.
Yes, I've watched it.
I forced Zin to watch this before we started the podcast, just to make sure it was, actually been watched and fresh in our head. CIG, where this is some of our plans for what we mean by content-driven patches for 2025, because they're effectively doing less features this year, but more in the way of content, making the game more playable, more bug-fixed, more stable. But it's not just about that. It's not just about getting the game into a better place for more people to play more easily. It's also about these story arcs and narrative stories. Missions are a big part of the content that they've got, and they're going to be adding from patch to patch. So what did you think about CIG running this current A story that we've been having for a while, since 3.24 with the safe stands and stuff, and then moving into Fight for Pyro and then going into Supply or Die, and that's the A story. And what do you think of that? And then them actually adding another narrative mission arc that's going to be running simultaneously to that. Do you think this is a good idea? Lots and lots of missions each month?
I don't think it's the sort of thing I'm going to be interested in. Like the actual story. Like I might enjoy the missions, but I don't play Star Citizen for a story. And
I actually saw some people saying similar things in the forums. A lot of people want a more player-driven or sandboxy experience. I mean, story is important, don't get me wrong. And I like the idea of story and getting special things, special rewards that are kind of limited time from being in the game at a certain point effectively. Not stuff that's like going to make you necessarily better at the game, but stuff that goes, oh, where'd you get that skin from? Where'd you get that cool looking weapon from? Oh, it's because I was here in 2025 playing Star Citizen. And I go, oh, wow, old man. Oh, yeah. That sort of stuff. So you don't play Star Citizen necessarily for like a narrative story arc.
No.
I suppose it is kind of relatively new in that regard. They haven't been doing it for that long.
I think that might be why as well, because it's never been that sort of game.
Yeah. Obviously, MMOs, they require a level of story, at least in some places, or missions that are chained together for some reason or whatever, but I suppose that's a bit different. This is more of a story arc that's running from month to month for quite a long time that is effectively one and done. I say that, they're going to be reusing all these mission components in these story arcs for the sort of missions that you see, just in a different configuration, and for future narrative missions. And I quite like it. I think it's cool. It's important that they work on general mission content and the more generic sandbox content as well. Really, I want to be able to jump in Star Citizen and mess around in whatever aspect of Star Citizen I want and be part of the verse and progress. The problem with story missions is they might only appeal to certain people at certain times for certain gameplay loops. But I mean, it's a cool way of getting the new content in and seeing new stuff. I like what they're doing. The problem I have with the actual story, because I think the story's pretty cool, is that it's not really being told to me in a way that I enjoy.
Yeah, so I saw a couple of people complaining on the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Basically saying like, oh, why can't we have them radioing us and stuff like that? And I think the problem with that is it doesn't work very well at the moment in game.
And if you're doing monthly patches where there's constant updates like this, maybe it's quite a big time investment for something that is, if they're doing it just as a one and done narrative, a lot of that would be lost work or not as reusable. But yeah, I have issues, difficulties, I should I should say, holding on to an understanding story if it's not told to me in a particular way. I mean, I'm dyslexic as well, which doesn't help. But it's very player burdened digging around for the story because you've got to find like data pads and actually read the missions.
Yeah.
And you're only seeing one point of view of a mission when there's like 3 factions. And that is kind of by design because they want you to be a bit in the dark. But when you've got this really cool story they're actually telling and you don't really realise that story's being told, it's kind of lost. At least that's sort of my opinion. A lot of people might be like, no, actually, eventually you understand and that sort of stuff. But I like missions telling me certain things at some point, radioing you, telling you, recapping what you've done, so you're on the same page, because you might forget what you've been doing from week to week as well, and a bit of a recap's nice, make sure everyone's on the same page. But yeah, there's going to be this big A story arc that we're currently playing until September, and then there's like a new set of a B story as well, which will be running from April to October roughly. I think this is going to contain sandworms. I'm pretty accurate when detecting when detecting sandworms, Zin. I'm pretty accurate. Do you think that this story content, this content-driven approach with missions and stuff, is going to extend well beyond 2025?
Yeah, probably. They're probably going to milk this for as much as it's worth.
Well, you say milk it. I think it might just become the norm, right? So that they've basically got these story arcs running until September, October, and they said there was more coming afterwards. Well, that's a multi-month thing. So it's, the next set should go well beyond 2026 into 2026. So, and I think if that all works and Star Citizen's funding expands out and they're getting good results with the patches and people are enjoying that, then I see no reason why they wouldn't continue with that. We're still going to get features. It's just going to be less in that regard. Do you think that a month for each of these sort of mission sets, like Fight for Pyro, Save Stanton, Supply or Die, is too short for people to get the rewards and complete it? Or do you think that's actually probably perfect time?
I think that's probably ample time.
Okay, cool. I think a lot of people would agree with you. I think a lot of people would disagree with you if they were busy for a few weeks within that month. They're like, I didn't have enough time. So Star Citizen has been normally full of time where I've just been able to jump in at any point and do something. But with this, they've gone, time is limited with these events in a way that we've not seen before. Also in that Inside Star Citizen we were talking about, we had that new Star Kitten, racing suit and pulse skin. What do you think of these? You're a Star Kitten lover.
I like the racing suit. Couldn't really see the pulse very well.
Yeah, you only see a portion of it, right? It's not like they orbit it or anything. Yeah, I like stuff like this. Were you okay with the helmet looking like it didn't have cat ears?
Well, it wouldn't be very aerodynamic with cat ears, would it?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of true. A cat's not aerodynamic.
They can fold their ears back.
Well, maybe. I want a helmet where the ears can fold back. What about the sneaky Perseus in the background? Do you think that's a hint at, actually, it might be reasonably close to completion? Maybe we'll see it at Fleet Week?
Nah. Might see it at Fleet Week. I mean, you've seen how long some of these ships have been in development before we actually got them. So
they wouldn't tease me like this, and if it wasn't near completion, surely.
Yeah, they would.
Okay, fair. That's true. Alpha 4.0.2, that's in Open PTUs in. Are you expecting these 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 patches to be the sort of monthly patch cadence? Do you expect this basically to be live by the end of the month?
Yeah, I think that's at least what they're going for. And because they're not having to try and make features work, it's something that they're more able to accomplish.
Yeah, they're just trying to... But I suppose they are trying to make features work. They're just not trying to add new features, right? They're trying to get the current ones in there working better.
Yeah.
4.0.1 and 4.0.2 are interesting because there's a huge amount of fixes they put into 4.0.2 as well. But there are still some really major bugs, like with transit and elevators, even things like ship weapons not firing, missions stopping progressing, PvP missions not working, things like that. Some of that stuff is like so prohibitive to play, so prohibitive to accessibility of the game that people are like, it's just totally broken. Now, obviously, a lot of this stuff doesn't happen all the time, or it can be avoided by just doing other gameplay. But that might not be ideal if you want to do the gameplay that's not working. There needs to be a load more fixes for 4.0.2, but it's getting there. It's looking hopeful that this patch... Well, let me ask you, do you think 4.0.2 is going to be significantly more playable than the previous patch when it goes live? Or do you think it's going to be, we just don't know?
I think it might be just slightly better.
Okay, well, CIG are basically going for better. Slightly better is better.
Yeah.
And if they get rid of some of those really egregious big bugs, great. I think that will make a lot of people's days a lot happier, and then they can deploy more hotfixes and that sort of stuff afterwards. There was some annoying stuff here, like they put in courier missions around Pyro, but then they disabled them a day later in that 4.0.2 patch, and we've seen this before with like the handyman missions and some salvage missions and stuff. We don't know when these sort of missions will be in game properly. It's possible that they might return before 4.0.2 actually is released, or they might require the mission refactor. CIG are prioritizing playability over new stuff, even over content, as it were. So if something is like, no, this reduces the playability of the game for some reason, causes problems, causes performance issues, whatever, they will just go, nope, we'll put it in the next patch. We'll see if we can get it ready for the next month. Do you like that sort of that cadence of, if it's causing issue, just push it?
Yeah, I think it's something that they should have been doing all along.
Okay. Yeah. It's certainly been sort of a bit varied in the way that they were pushing patches previously, because sometimes they'd be like, no, we have to get this feature in, and sometimes we're like, oh yeah, we sort of had to get this feature in, but we had to push it because it was broken. So there's sometimes holding patches back for a month or two or whatever, sometimes just pushing a patch out even though it was broken. Yeah, so hopefully a more stable cadence will be good here. Something else in that 4.0.2 level was that Rats Arena Commander level.
It's not a Rats Arena Commander level.
Okay.
I'm annoyed that you've written that. It's not Rats.
Okay, it's Rats.
I literally said they need to bring in some Rats levels. That's not a Rats level.
Okay. So how would you describe that level?
It's just a stupid level.
Just a stupid...
It's basically the Good Doctor with a different outside area.
I disagree with that. I'd just say it's got the Good Doctor prefab hidden away in the level. So it's basically what we're talking about is this giant easy hab that you're effectively a little toy. You're a little toy ship. It's
not giant. You're tiny.
Okay. Yeah. Can someone tell us if we're tiny or if the level's giant, please? See. Such a weird argument, but I suppose it matters. I suspect the level's giant actually, Zin.
Yeah, I think the level's giant.
Might be a bit stretched, but there was a load of Easter eggs and secrets around, and I like silly levels like this. You're right, it is a silly level. It'd be nice to see some rats. What do you mean by rats levels, by the way?
Jump pads and stuff, not zero gravity, things like that.
So old school FPS shooter stuff.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. I liked the fact there was some silly hidden stuff like the sandworm plush hidden away. Because you saw these big Benny's machines in a circle and went, oh, they look like they're having a meeting about something. And I zoomed in, I went, there's something in the middle of them. And you came and assaulted my ship with it. But yeah, very, very cool thing, and lots of silly Easter eggs there and secrets. We thought maybe it might be, well, at least I did, might be the April Fool's sort of thing that they've accidentally released, but it also might just be a fun test level. FPS vault weapons are coming in. Are you excited about any of just more FPS gear and more FPS armor and weapons and stuff like that turning up more regularly?
Variety is good, but I often spawn in the same areas and only have a limited amount of weapons to choose from.
That's true. I suppose one of the things I want from Star Citizen's economy is I want to be able to buy stuff that's not at my location, but at a premium price.
I mean, I can do it in real life.
Yep. Well, you can't do it from space, though, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, but space travel isn't open to, most people.
That's true. Well, I want Space Amazon. But yes, at a premium, I'd like to be able to buy stuff at a distance. It doesn't have to be an infinite distance, or maybe it does, but just at more of a premium, or generates missions to move these things around. Yeah, I like the idea of more weapons and stuff. People have wanted the vault weapons in game for ages as well. Something else people wanted for ages, which they now have, is the Super Hornet Mark II. What do you think of this ship? Because basically it's a standard Hornet Mark II, but it's got 2 seats, and it's sort of got the quite close to the F7A kind of military spec is the idea.
Yeah, it's all right.
Because you don't need the co-pilot to fire the weapons and to use the all of the weapons on the ship, which is good. Do you like the idea of having that extra seat? Whether or not
I mean, we talked about this last time, and the only thing I could say was it's good for camera. I don't see the usefulness of having it in any other situation.
So it allows you to have that co-pilot sharing some tasks and taking control of that top turret and shooting like behind you, because obviously if you've got the pilot flying it, they can't shoot behind. Well, I suppose they can, but they'd have to fly the ship in a straight line and then remote turret to it to fly behind. But you having a second person means that you can transport them around. You can potentially get them out of hot situations by having extra seats or do a bit of evac, but also fire to your rear. But yeah, I suppose why not take 2 ships in that sort of thing? Like, I would definitely say that 2 F7As, Mark IIs, would be better than a single Super Hornet. So it's going to suit certain people, right, over others.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you don't need the co-pilot. But yeah, it's got effectively you can use the better military turret on the nose. And then we've got the Heartseeker skin as well. You get a ball turret and that cool Heartseeker skin, which there's also the same as the Mark 1 skin for your Mark II Hornets. You can apply it to any of them. And a little bit upsetting, there was no cheaper upgrade for the Heartseeker Mark 1 owners to be able to get the Heartseeker Mark II. But I suppose they made it into a kit. So, yeah, what do you think of that? Do you like the idea of these kits, and do you want to see more for more ships?
I think they're overpriced.
Oh, okay. The kit's overpriced because it's just a ball turret and a skin.
Yeah.
If they had ships like they just went like 300i or whatever, and then all of the other ships were just kits available for the base one, do you think that would be a good idea if they were priced appropriately? Or do you like the fact that there's a differentiation between hull? I
think it's better having a differentiation.
Okay, certain situations for sure. Interested to know if anyone here has bought the Super Hornet Mark II or the Heartseeker Mark II, or is keeping their Heartseeker Mark 1. I'm going to be jostling Zenai's ships around a bit because I'm a lover of the Hornet Mark IIs. However, I've realised that I do love my F8 more. Medium fighter-wise, I've got a lot of love for the Sabre. I think medium fighter, probably Hornet Mark II, and then I'm torn between the Super Hornet Mark II and the F7A Mark II. Sin has a Heartseeker Mark 1, but you'd happily have a Mark II if it wasn't expensive, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't ridiculously expensive to go from a Heartseeker Mark 1 to a F7 Mark II, then to a Heartseeker Mark II.
Yeah, because I suppose realistically you want the Super Hornet and then the Heartseeker upgrade for it rather than a civilian Hornet and then the Heartseeker upgrade. What do you think of the other Core and More offerings with like the Love Struck paints, the sort of pinky purple, little accents of purple?
I mean, they're great. I think skins are all right, but they're not a big thing for me.
I want the ability to paint ships in-game however we want. I mean, I don't mean freehand. Or I mean, yeah, if you could do freehand, great. You'd have too much TTP. I
mean, I don't even mind them giving us a limited palette. So, like, you can't get the fancy, like, shiny skins and stuff that they do. But you can still just paint your ship or choose a colour or whatever.
And that opens up CIG being able to make a load of money, real money, from having ornate or intricate skins or more paint options available to you if you spend money. The aesthetic of my ship, CIG can make money on that. I'd sort of be okay with that. We are still waiting on Star Citizen financials. Do you think they're going to release these at any point?
They need to.
Yeah.
It is a bit annoying that they haven't yet. Like, what is holding them up?
Yeah, maybe they are literally presenting it to us in a totally different way compared to what they did previously. Maybe it's not sort of like a financial report kind of thing they put on their website. Maybe it's something a bit more. Because CIG have a couple of times said to me, yeah, well, we're working on it. And I was like, okay, cool. But they haven't said much more than that. I'm very much looking forward to that. Because obviously there's some reasonable announcements about staff and movement of staff and C-suite employees being moved around. Also, I'm interested to see that with the Squadron 42 newsletter, they said it's bi-monthly. Is the next one that they put out, is it going to be a bit more meaty than the previous one? Because the previous one was pretty short, just going, we recorded some orchestra and some cool music. I like to see development information like we do with the Persistent Universe monthly reports. And we're also waiting on roadmap updates. Now, I think it's going to be more interesting to see what's happening with the progress tracker than it is potentially with the release view. We'll see how they change the release view as well, because monthly patches mean something a bit different. Maybe they'll just maintain a stuff we're working on for 2025 feature-wise, and then features for 1.0, or maybe they will look at, actually, this is the feature set that we've got planned for when we consider 4.1 released, but be a bit fuzzy with it, and then get some of it in from each of the monthly minor patches. What are you expecting from roadmap updates? Are you expecting them to change the cadence of that, or to change the way they give us that roadmap update to be monthly? Do you think it's going to go like 4.1, bam, there's a load of features in here, we consider 4.1 released when these features are there, but we're doing a monthly cadence, so you'll get these features slowly over the year? Do you expect something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, yeah. The thing is, we don't know. We're guessing. But Squadron 42 release is planned for 2026. Gone are the days of 2 years to Squadron. Now it's a year. Now it's perpetually a year to Squadron. Or hopefully CIG will give us more information on roadmap, Squadron, financials, all that sort of stuff soon. I'm interested to know if anyone's having a terrible or great time with 4.0.2, and if you've been able to complete Fight for Pyro, and are you enjoying the way that they are giving us these story missions? Do you love the story missions? Do you think this is a great idea to build out mission components towards 1.0? Or are you like, no, they need to be focusing more on sandboxy, more repetitive content that's then enjoyable? But I suppose it's not mutually exclusive. I think it's both at the same time, but tell us what you think in the comments below. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
I've done a bit of a switcheroo because it's not goodbye yet, because we're going to be talking about NordVPN, or best on VPN. Zin, what? NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. What do you think?
Yes, all right.
Yeah, perfect. That is a glowing endorsement from Zinja. If she said, yeah, you were right to me, I'd be like, I feel good for the whole week. So you should check out the links below for NordVPN. We're giving away a ship this month as well, a Misk Fortune. It comes, what does it come with, Zin?
It comes with Red Festival paints, lifetime insurance, and a game package.
Yeah.
And it was kindly given to us by CIG to give to you wonderful people, or one of you wonderful peoples.
One of you potentially wonderful people. Yes, so just comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. And if you'd like to further support the channel, just like, share, comment, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. Join button under the video helps as well. There's Patreon. There's loads of stuff like that. Thanks so much for watching. You have a great time, and I'll see you in the verse. Say goodbye again, Zin.
Goodbye again, Zin.